It's February 4th, and the strange side of history awaits. Today, we have an abduction that blurred the lines between victim and accomplice, a code of honor that demanded death, and a manuscript that unsettled faith. Let's begin. On February 4th, 1974, in the quiet streets of Berkeley, California, became the starting point of one of America's most unsettling identity transformations in history. 19-year-old heiress Patty Hearst was inside her apartment when members of the Symbionese Liberation Army burst through the door. Her fiancé, Stephen Weed, was beaten and left behind as Hearst was dragged away into the night. The SLA wasn't after money. They wanted power, attention, and leverage over the Hearst dynasty, specifically her grandfather, publishing mogul William Randolph Hearst. Their demand was chillingly unconventional. A massive food giveaway for California's poor. The family complied, spending millions, yet the distribution collapsed into chaos and riots. For weeks, Hearst was missing. Later, she would describe being blindfolded, locked in a closet, and threatened with death. In April, the story took a turn no one expected. A recorded message surfaced. Hart spoke calmly, declaring allegiance to her captors. She had taken a new name, Tanya. Days later, surveillance footage from the Hibernian Bank showed her holding a rifle during a robbery. She served 22 months when her sentence was commuted by President Jimmy Carter, and in 2001, she received a full pardon from President Bill Clinton on his last day of office. Patty Hearst walked into history as a victim and emerged as a question mark for the justice system. Was she a victim, or was she a willing revolutionary? On February 4th, 1703, the streets of Edo were quiet, but beneath the silence, a decision centuries in the making was reaching its end. 2 years earlier, the samurai lord Asuno Nagari had been ordered to die by his own blade after attacking a powerful court official. His retainers were stripped of their status, left masterless. By law, they were finished. By honor, they were not. For 24 months, 47 men waited. They disguised themselves as merchants and drunks, ghosts of who they once were. Then, on a winter night, they struck. Lord Kira was dragged from hiding and killed. His head carried through the city as proof that loyalty still lived. Punishment was inevitable, but instead of execution, the shogun offered something colder and more sacred. On this day, 46 Ronin knelt in silence. One by one, they opened their own bodies in a ritual suicide, choosing honor over life. Their deaths were not forced, which makes the silence surrounding them far more unsettling. On February 4th, 1859, inside a stone monastery clinging to the shadows of Mount Sinai, a discovery quietly surfaced that would unsettle the foundations of sacred history. German scholar Konstantin von Tischendorf stood among ancient shelves in the St. Catherine's Monastery, one of the oldest Christian monasteries still in use. What he finalized that day was no ordinary manuscript. It was a 4th century handwritten Bible, older than any complete New Testament known to exist. The pages were fragile, some had been lost to fire, others bore scars of thousands of corrections made by unknown hands across the century. This book, later named the Codex Sinaiticus, told a quieter, more unsettling story than the modern Bible allows. Entire passages were missing, familiar endings vanished. Even which books belonged in scriptures was different. Was this corruption or preservation? He removed the manuscript under circumstances still debated today, scattered its pages across the nation, and as scholars compared the words to later versions, one truth became impossible to ignore. The Bible had a past, few of which prepared to face. It was buried for centuries in a silent monastery. The past waited patiently, until faith itself was forced to look backwards. Another day, another strange bite from history. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your next Eerie dose is just a day away.